Hi everyone and welcome to another Collectomaniac video. Today, as you can see, we are back with the 1/6 scale custom horror figure collection. And today we have for you something I think is very special. Here we have Sam Hain, or Sam as he's referred to, from his appearance in the film Trick or Treat. Now this piece was created by Caine Productions, and the tailoring was carried out by Teneda Airs, or Teneda Customs, who you may remember from my first figure, which was created by One's Customs and Teneda Airs, and was based on Michael Myers. To go into the background of this piece, this was initially from a post on the Sideshow Freaks forum back in November 11th of 2012. Now, the piece took 4 years in total to come to fruition, but as we go through this piece in detail, I'm sure you'll agree the wait was well worth it. This was an extremely limited run of 12 figures only, and as you can see from the certificate of authenticity by Caine and by Teneda Airs, this is numbered 8 of 12. A small detail which I always appreciate with Teneda certificates is that she always includes a small sample of the material used for that piece. The set consists of a very authentic street themed base, a light up pumpkin complete with flames coming out of the top of it, a burlap sack, the main figure itself, two different right hands, two different versions of the Lollipop, one complete, the other with a bite taken out of it, a chocolate bar with a razor blade inside, and two different head sculpts. As with all of Caine's pieces, the packaging was incredibly professional. It comes with an outer sleeve, as you will be able to see on screen now, which has various pictures of the product. Then inside the main box, there was custom foam packaging to ensure that everything was kept in place and damage free when it arrived to every customer. Before I go into the review of the figure, I'd like to read a few extracts from the letter that Caine included with every piece. And in the letter he quotes that he'd like to give credit to Mike Tansey, who initially came up with the idea of producing this Sam piece. Now, the biggest challenge I understand from this, and I quote, "Once I had decided I wanted to pursue it, the challenge was then how to create a figure of a little 7 to 8 year old boy with the bodies on the market today." He says, once again, Mike helped out by sourcing a 1/12 scale action body that has much of the same articulation of the average 1/6 scale body and the correct proportions of a small child. So when you look at this, it is in fact a 1/12 scale body, but it does match the proportions of the character on screen perfectly, and the articulation is excellent. In addition, the weight and the overall weight distribution of the figure is very good as well, because as you can see, there is no stand holding this piece up. It is perfectly weighted and there's no tilting, and I can verify that this piece did not fall over during filming, which was nice. The base of the figure is a street or sidewalk themed. So on the front edge, you can quite clearly see the curb. There's a very good amount of weathering and aging, just to make it look realistic. The other thing I forgot to mention is that Caine also included a pack of what I would call paper leaves, just to make this really feel like this is Halloween time, when the leaves are falling, etc. It's also nice that there are many different colours as well, as there's a mixture of green fresh leaves that have fallen from the tree and ones that are quite clearly dying in that darker reddy brown colour. There's then a layer of grass, and I believe this almost looks like it's a turf. It's been quite precisely cut to a set length, so it doesn't go beyond the path in the middle of the street, and when you feel it, it has that plasticky feel, and it looks very realistic. I don't own or have not seen another piece that actually includes this kind of authentic grass. I had a lot of concrete style bases. I've even got bases that try to simulate rain. This is a nice choice and effect from Caine here, as it does an excellent job of setting the scene as it would have been in the film. As I'm sure you may have heard me mention once or twice before, I very much enjoy pieces that aren't just made to be looked at from the front. They're also taking into account the fact that people will want to see it from multiple angles, and this base does exactly that. As you can see from this side profile, it's very similar to the previous Liquor piece in the fact that it's a cross section. You can see the mud beneath the grass where it's sat upon to simulate the realism. You can see obviously the concrete for the pavement or the street, and then at the back part of the base where there's more grass, again, you've guessed it, there's more mud. It's just all these kind of details which really sets artists like Caine apart from a lot of the others, in my opinion. One of the most iconic things about Halloween is, of course, pumpkins. Now, in the film, there were a vast array of pumpkins, and I seem to remember quite a few scenes, including the outside of the front porch scene, where there were probably at least 20 to 30 pumpkins. The pumpkin that Caine has included in this set is what I would say is the most iconic pumpkin, the flaming pumpkin. When you compare this to how it looks in the film, he's done an excellent job of replicating that. The overall shape of the pumpkin, of course, is difficult, but he's also managed to get the width and the sculpting as to where the teeth and the eyes are, which of course the eyes mimic Sam's eyes to a certain degree with those crosses on the front, has been done excellently. At the top of the pumpkin, Caine has included a sculpted piece of translucent resin, so when it is lit up, it looks extremely realistic and impressive. There's also lots of fine detail on the pumpkin. You can see the lines. There's also some nice paintwork that Caine has gone here. There's a few different tones of orange. There's even some small bits of dirt and weathering. There's also a nice realistic gloss to the pumpkin, which adds to the realistic portrayal of what a pumpkin would look like. Now, of course, it would be usual to assume that any child or person carrying a sack on Halloween would simply have sweets in it. However, during the film, the blood stains and the every so often cat screeching noises suggest otherwise. Unfortunately, I don't believe Caine has included this in this sack. It's just got some simple stuffing with it. It's secured at the top with a piece of string, just like on the film, and it fits nicely in either hand. It's been weathered appropriately, and there's also some fine details such as a patch on the underside of the sack. He references the outfit as being the main obstacle for production behind this piece. And you can certainly see why when you consider the size of the body. Also, when you're going through source material and even the clips from the film, you can see that Sam's outfit isn't skin tight or anything like that. There are certain parts of the outfit that are more baggy than others, and I can completely understand why it was difficult to get this right. We're fortunate that Tenela Ayres comes to the rescue. On the front of the toes, Tenela has included the white coverings which match how they looked in the film. The stitching is virtually invisible, which, as I said, when you consider the size of this, is impressive itself. The material ruffles up near the ankle area, which again reflects how it looked in the film. It certainly looks the part when you compare to the outfit Sam was wearing in the film. It almost feels like a wool style material. The colour has been very well matched, and Caine has done a lot of weathering to this, some subtle, most of it are in places where you would expect, like on the soles of the feet. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to capture an angle, but at certain parts you can see this. On the front of the body, there are the film accurate patches. There's also a little piece of stitch pulls, which again add to the nice weathering job that Caine has done. I also like what he's done with the hands, in that the material, colour and style matches that of the sack head and the burlap sack. However, these were casted hands, so of course you're not going to have the material of the glove. However, around the wrists they are tied with a piece of material. Again, this makes it extremely authentic, and it's just all these little touches that, in my opinion, make this a very nice figure. The loose fit of the outfit continues up the rest of the body, and thinking about it, this is almost what I would describe as a onesie. When you look around the back area, there's even the flap. Tonelli's been able to capture 2 stitched on buttons at the back. Caine's also added some weathering down the seam where the outfit opens. I would have been interested to see how the outfit initially came from Tonelli, just to truly understand how much work Caine has done to the outfit as a whole. From this angle, it looks like it has been worn for an awful long time, where it has complete with those stitch pulls, loose bits of material, the fuzzy kind of top layer to the onesie, and he's done an excellent job here, in my opinion. One of the accessories that comes with Sam is, of course, another iconic piece, the chocolate bar with razor blade inside of it. Caine's been able to accurately portray the way the packet opens, the colour seems correct, and I also like the way there's blood on the edge of the razor blade, almost to simulate that somebody has actually put this in their mouth. Another one of Sam's accessories is, of course, the Lollipop in the shape of a pumpkin. This has been casted similarly to the light up pumpkin in clear resin. It comes attached to an orange and black stick, just like in the film. As you can see, it's double-sided. Just another one of the small details that makes it look as accurate as possible. There is a second lollipop included, and this is the one that has had a bite taken out of it. Again, it's made in the exact same way, translucent resin. It's again pumpkin themed. The actual stick is the same, black and orange. Another quality piece, and double-sided, just like the previous lollipop. Of the 2 head sculpts that comes with this piece, for my opinion, the most iconic is, of course, the head with the burlap sack and string tied around the neck. Now, this matches, in my opinion, very well up with how it looks in the film. The stitching down the middle part of the head, which extends from, I believe, all the way from the back of the neck over the top of the head, down the middle of the face, the nose, and then from left to right, almost where the mouth would be, so it can simulate a smile. The eyes of Sam also look extremely accurate. Effectively, they are buttons, and the cross stitch almost looks very much as it did in the film. One of the things that does impress me with the way this head sculpt looks is how Caine's been able to achieve the overall roundness of the head without having an extremely tight piece of string round the neck. I can only imagine what kind of wizardry goes into this, but it's impressive. The weathering of the sack has been done extremely well. As you can see from the front, there's various pulls almost where the threads have separated, and this continues all the way around the bottom part of the sack. Lastly, we have the Unmasked Head of Sam. Now, the creator of the Trick or Treat franchise, and as definition Sam, described this head as a cross between an embryo and a pumpkin. Difficult to really agree or disagree on this. What I can say is, in my opinion, it's certainly frightening and has that demonic style appearance with the eyes. However, it's no real surprise that he wears the burlap sack throughout the film, as it's not exactly a face you'd want to look at for any considerable length of time. And there's very little chance of getting candy. When it comes to the sculpt and the design of the head sculpt, it's very impressive. Caine's been able to capture all of the details, such as the sunken in sides, almost to simulate ears, the shape of the eyes, also the actual eyeballs themselves with the same cross pattern as on the burlap sack. He's included the stitching which are above the eyes, the correct colour. An interesting thing you may notice here is that there aren't the stitches over the mouth. We will elaborate on that shortly. The nose is in the correct triangular shape pattern, and the paint overall is very good. He's been able to capture some of the vein work on the movie head. The colours of the eyes and the surrounding areas are impressively painted. They almost have a dead style look to them, almost what happens when a pumpkin dies and rots and moulds. The colouring is very accurate, and I feel he's done an excellent job representing what it looked like in the film again. As some people may know, Caine is known for pushing the boundaries of what's possible with these pieces, and he certainly hasn't let us down here. As you can see, he has been able to include an articulated jaw. What's more impressive in the fact that it's able to close shut completely, it's not loose, but at the same time when you do open it, he's included details such as the teeth, the tongue there, and it does open and shut very efficiently. As you can see, you can even put one of the lollipops in there to actually simulate why a bite has been taken out of it. It's a feature like this that really shows the level of detail and also technical skill that an artist like Caine possesses. By this point of the video, you of course notice that this is a little bit longer than some of my previous videos, and this is simply due to the fact that there is a lot going on in this piece. There's a multitude of accessories. That's not just from the lollipops, different hands, different head sculpts, and there's a lot to talk about with this piece. The challenges that Caine faced for this piece, to be honest, weren't any that any other artists were even looking to take on at the time. As I've said, the body, trying to get the right tailor, and those almost small but very important touches that Caine added himself, like the articulated jaw, the incredible bass and everything that went into that. This is the only piece I own by Caine, and certainly if I had an opportunity, or if he were to delve into the realm of making another full figure from one of my, quite frankly, favourite horror films, I'd more than jump at the chance. Trick or Treat, in my opinion, is a film that if you haven't seen it, if you are a horror fan, which I assume you are if you're watching this video, but even if you're not, check it out. It took a while to actually be distributed. It had been filmed a number of years before, but as with quite a few films that see a release years later, that no way takes away any of the enjoyment or, in fact, the credit the film deserves. So check it out if you haven't already. Overall, I think this is an incredible piece if you hadn't guessed so already. Unfortunately for a lot of people, it was such a small run, and as I'm sure there are some of you watching, there is another offering by Rayman, which I do own, and I will review that at another point. I may even be able to do a side-by-side comparison. Let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments. I really hope you enjoyed this detailed look at my Sam Trick or Treat figure by Caine Productions with tailoring by Untitled Customs. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and even leave some comments. I'd be very interested to hear your opinions, not just on the film, but what Caine was able to achieve with this piece, whether you feel anything could have been done better, how accurate he was to the source material, and also the accuracy of the outfit that Untitled Customs was able to produce here. Lastly, I'd like to apologise for the lateness of this video. I realise that this is going live on Saturday. However, I hope the short wait was worth it. Thank you very much for watching this Collectomaniac video. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.